Good morning, everyone. I'm Dito from the Crystality and Preda dev team. I'm super excited to be here. I got limited time, so I'm gonna dive straight in. So today I'm gonna share the recent progress that our team has made on scaling sequential AMM via a parallel architecture. So our target is to scale DeFi back on-chain. Let's dive in. So firstly, when we talk about constant product AMM, which is Uniswap or the other AMMs we usually heard, that is indeed, we love it. And we think it is the greatest innovation probably happening in the DeFi space for the past 5 to 6 years. And for the first time, traders get to trade without any intermediaries. And instead, they interact with a smart contract via the bonding curve. So every swap moves the reserves along the bonding curve. So the AMM is actually constantly searching for the newer price. And so, therefore, I would invite you to consider constant product AMM in this specific lens that it is indeed an on-chain continuous price discovery engine. And we know for most of the short-tail assets, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, stablecoins, etc., and actually the majority of their liquidity and the trading volume happening firstly on the centralized exchange. So what we have here is indeed a reactive feedback loop. So we have the external, which is the market price happening on the centralized first, reach a new fair price, and then there will be the arbitrators who are the informed traders wanting to capture this price difference for profits. And they want to step in, and there will be the competitive arbitrage trades happen. And then either it's arbitrage or it's normal trades, it's just trades. So for an AMM, the reserve updates, the price changes, and the AMM price actually converges towards the market fair price. Therefore, we want to come down to this conclusion that for mainstream assets, a constant product AMM largely function as a passive price discovery mechanism. And either it's MEV or arbitrage trading activities, we think is one of the very important process of correcting the price. We can't eliminate them, and we shouldn't. And there's a very important question we ask here is, how fast does the AMM price converge to the fair price? And when we talk about fast, there's a dimension of time. So let's look back at sequential AMM. Trust me, we love Uniswap, but Uniswap does come with a bandwidth constraint by design. Say, during the high volatility market times, there will be huge amounts of transaction actually trying to access the same liquidity pool. To give you a concept about how this concentration looks like, I got a number here. So indeed, the leading 0.17% of Uniswap V2 pools possess almost 40% of the total swaps. That's huge, and that's quite concentrated. So there are the hotspots on the Uniswap. It has always been, and it will be in the future. So in this case, there will be a single shared asset reserve state accessed at the same time by huge amounts of transactions. There's one global write lock over there, and Uniswap just designed in this way. All swaps must serialize. Everything, like transactions are executed one by one. And then, what does it cost? We got this huge volume transactions that intensify the state contention, actually. And then the gas fee spikes, transactions queue up, there could be transactions spilled across multiple blocks. And therefore, there will be an extended stale price time window remaining open for the arbitrators. And for the LPs, that's terrible news. Because we have this concept of loss versus rebalancing, as known as LVR. Actually, it is one form of MEV that exploit more value than all the other MEV forms combined. So it is a serious condition, and the extended time window just make it worse. And this low risk arbitrage window will be exploited by those arbitrators. They're actually very well positioned to exploit this slow updates. And that indeed caused structural costs to the LPs. LP pay the bills. LP pay the bills, and arbitrators make the money. So price discovery becomes a very competitive queuing, in this case, on Uniswap. So seeing this bottleneck, the market have their own alternative approach as private AMM. So what does private AMM do? It stop waiting for price discovery on chain. They moves it off chain. And actually they have their own what they call pricing prediction models, collecting all the information, like the gathering like order flow signals and market data aggregation, and just push this off-chain information on-chain. And then at the end, smart contract and blockchain only reduced as the settlement layer. So you can barely call it AMM because they don't have the consent product anymore. And then, there are plenty of benefits we're going to talk about. It's really extremely good using experience for the traders because there's no near zero slippage, and it's extremely fast. And for the market makers, they love it because it provides extreme capital efficiency for them. But no, I'm going to talk more about the trade-offs. The trade-offs here is much bigger than that box. So for the traders, for the trade-offs one, we have the private AMM provides an opaque execution. They're doing everything off-chain. And it's almost like a black box with closed source models that it is impossible to audit it. And also there are the hidden order flows probably sent privately to the market makers. And there will be censorship mechanism surfacing as operators can actually filter or reject some of the what they call toxic order flow. So that creating a selective access, it may only whitelist some of the orders for execution. And then the most important thing, the worst thing, let's say, is the fragmented and isolated liquidity, because liquidity is completely off-chain. So that this kind of liquidity is completely isolated and not composable anymore with any other DeFi building blocks we have in the space that actually make DeFi powerful. So we're asking if private AMM is the industry response, then the DEX aggregators like, say, Jupiter on Solana actually are becoming the new centralized exchange, probably the new Binance. And what's the point of decentralization of blockchain? So the fundamental question we're asking here is, can we scale price discovery without leaving the chain? We keep everything on chain. Is it possible to do that? We come up with this solution, what we call parallel AMMs. It's actually based on a parallel programming model that we have been working on for years. And now we implemented it in the parallel AMMs and to have this faster feedback loop on chain. So our ideal case, the target would be starting from the same ideal price, sale price, parallel AMMs would need much shorter time than sequential AMM to converge to the fair price. And then we got this reality that our execution speed is 2 to 6 times faster than sequential AMM, which translates to 75% down in time in mispricing half-life. And before diving into the details, I would like to share an inspiration of this parallel AMM design. It's based on our observation of Uniswap v2. The numbers are here. Actually, the majority of transactions make negligible price impact. They don't have price impacts. To give it a number, over 85% of transactions would make a price delta less than like 1,000th. So our approach is that we parallelize the transaction of them. We would route the large transactions to a global pod for the large transaction, for a transaction that actually have a price impact. And this one maybe hold probably 80% of total liquidity. And all the small transactions would be routed to the smaller pods for a parallel transaction and that each of them may hold only 5% of the total liquidity. And we also have this periodical synchronization and on-demand rebalancing to synchronize the liquidity assets, the reserves of them across all the pods. You may ask the question: you got your liquidity splitted. Does that introduce worse slippage for the traders? Challenge accepted. We have to redesign the whole algorithm. So we have this algorithm with that if a small transaction is sent to a pod, we don't quote local reserve. The price is calculated based on the approximate total across all the pods. So are the large transactions. So we have to keep this pricing with an acceptable range of accuracy in our design. I won't get into the details of this equation, but you can ask me later. Let's chat about it. And we have this performance validation here. We got, firstly, let's look at throughput. The execution speed is indeed 1.8 to 5.6x TPS versus sequential AMM. And that translates to 70% reduction in convergence time to the fair price. And for the performance of Fry, the price deviation will remain 1.5% at 90% when we have 4 sub-pods. And that is performance just to prove that we have built up everything and we have stress tested it. And we were here last year at ECC introducing the underlying programming model, which is Crystality. And now we are here. Crystality is fully composable with Solidity written Ethereum clients. And we are currently running a validator implementing Crystality on testnet. And that enables like parallel execution at the execution layer of Ethereum. So that's what we do on a higher level. So what's next? We're gonna, yeah, okay. I'm gonna stop here. I'm happy to take whatever questions you may have. Okay, just feel free. Got a question? Sure.
By sequential AMM, I assume you mean Uniswap. Have you compared any of these metrics to like a hyperliquid?
Not really. We look at more on like Uniswap and constant product AMM only. Yeah, we don't look at like order book thing because it's not just comparable to like decentralized order book or whatever order book you are operating. So that's why I mentioned constant product AMM like repeatedly in these slides. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's why hyperliquid is so competitive.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think the slippage we have right now is the number is quite close to sequential AMM, and that's, I think, the best we can achieve. But this is the first few steps. We just built these central building blocks of this parallel AMM, the architecture. So we are adding more mechanism and probably more I don't know, the extensions to it. So like Uniswap, the hooks that they have in Uniswap v2, they're making everything better, making the numbers better, make slippage even much thinner than what Uniswap has, and that's our goal. Yeah, thanks for the question. Anyone else? Feel free to chat with me.